for only like what, 7 minutes. So can someone give me a heads up?
Sure, if people allow me the privilege of speaking where this kind of came from. And sorry, Mr. Ben is now teaching math until just after 9. But anyways, some people know on one of the big spaces that had some issues and some breakaways, and I didn't even know other stuff in the past, was very male-centric, and some women and some other people had some issues with that, and we were happy to go into some other spaces. One of the main spaces was run by three, four people. But anyways, we had tried to speak, to add some short little quip, but one of the individuals has been known in a lot of people's opinion to kind of play games and be, in our opinion, very dramatic, because she's almost appeared to be drunk, will be swearing at the top of her lungs, you know, and find themselves very funny, whatever. Anyways, it just made a lot of the, and maybe older people who wanted to be a little bit more serious sometimes. But anyways, it was almost like she was trying to push people away. And it was done in not very good fashion. And just really creating harm for the cause. So some of us who've been sort of, we feel targeted, pushed out, whatever, we're starting to try and do something so that we could, you know, have something going on, discussing news here. That today Ghost had asked me to start a space. He was doing errands, which is why it had the word, I joked, errant errands, not achieving this in it. It got added lightning round after, I will admit, being upset with a woman who, like, probably statistically, Maddie, about 98% of the time was, as a listener, taking over the space to the point where people were leaving. Even Ghost could barely interrupt her to have her allow for other people's thoughts, to the point where people were forgetting what they were going to say themselves. And I will say that I can be a bitch if you are nasty to me, but if you are being civil and decent and rambling on, I will have a little bit of a difficult time telling you to fuck off. It's just not my nature. I will bitch about it in the background. It's like trying to tell your friend or your employee you have BO. It's just like, I don't know. How do you do that? I think a lot of people here would have issues. Anyways, it has turned into a kind of an attack thing for having a NAFO hashtag, because Ghost had originally wanted to, I guess, try and come up with creative ways for people with skills to be able to donate to go towards NAFO and towards Ukraine. Ghost was very insistent on how, you know, keeping it. I believe it's the same. Frankly, if anybody thinks that I'm aware or not aware of who has or has not donated to NAFO, that is absurd on your part to put upon my head. And B, Maddie, one of the things that I had been thinking of for like probably about 2 weeks is how can we make a financial donation to NAFO? And I had thought of Ben donating tutoring for anybody who has a child who needs physics, math, SAT tutoring, and they could make it directly to Kama. And I even came up, because I didn't think it was appropriate to go take Ben's picture off, that I came up with the, oh my God, I want a Vishivanka for Bob the fella. Ben said a Fishivanka, and I thought that was a positive, amazing thing to do. And instead, we have now been attacked. Zata has come on here, and essentially one person, was it Zata or DeBerry, that claimed that it was not financial fraud. Yes. In fact, the word fraud was used. And I kept telling Ghost, you are not going to see what's going on. And it's been right up exactly as I said. And it's just made me really bothered and uncomfortable. And Paul, I'm not so sure you have anything to make this in a better direction, but go ahead, Marty.
Generally, when I deal with situations like this, I try to make a judgment based upon what the reaction is from the Ukrainians that we have in these spaces. Let me scroll through. I don't see anyone here.
And I would, sorry to interrupt, Maddie. The counteraction to that is Ukrainians are also individuals, and I forget who the hell said it sometime in the last week or two. There's also good and bad Ukrainians, just like Americans, just like anything. So
when is it appropriate to have NATO in a space name?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's a whole side discussion, period. But it's, you know, it shouldn't go on whatever Ukrainians there at the time, period. So I don't know that that's necessarily a good measure.
I want to interrupt you here. That runs into the entire problem that we've been promoting, like a small group of us, we've been promoting time and again, elevating Ukrainian voices. Yes, you're right. The Ukrainians are different and they have different opinions. But whatever internal squabbles they have, that's their problem. We're here to assist them as far as I can, and well, at least that's my idea. Actually being present on Twitter until the full-scale invasion, I wanted nothing to do with Twitter. My account is pretty old. You know that I have a sock account. You've seen it too. It is actually older than my main account. And yeah, I never bothered Twitter in the first place. But now I'm here, so I don't see any. Do I see any Ukrainians? No, I don't. Maybe there are, but I'm not just not aware of them. But we have a few regulars like Junta. We've got Brooklyn. We've got Jet, Sergey. None of them are here. What I'm not trying to insinuate anything. I'm just gonna say it directly. If the conversation is not about Ukraine, if the conversation is not about hating Ukraine, and it's just talking about personal differences that people have, then I'm gonna stick around because they have a war and genocide going on. So having a space like that, I know it distracts a lot of attention from people that are working for Ukraine DAO. I see Nick and Arthur here, and they haven't been active on Discord for Ukraine DAO, which is unusual. So that is why I popped up here. I want to find out why they're not there, which means I trust their judgment. I think they're probably here because something is happening, and that's why I popped up on my main accounts.
Mari, the whole thing that became the distraction was about Actio Space, which is why we had sent a message the other day that we had created another space, because literally for not being allowed to talk, of which we put a hand up in line, waited, they jumped to other people, and then it's not allowed to talk it's literally DeBerry came in, hijacked this, turned it into you're against NAFO, brought in a bunch of attack people, and it's just like literally taking away from Ukraine. That was what they chose to do, not me. And Actu was the root of this whole other side thing of mistreating people.
Yeah, if I may quickly, sorry, Paul. I know that Arthur's DMs are open all the time. He has to have them open because if he closes them, I'm gonna tell him to open them because people send us stuff. And if he does it, he's gonna be told off by a whole bunch of other people at Ukraine DAO. So I'm pretty sure his DMs are functioning unless he blocked you or you blocked him.
Madi, we had communicated to him in the past and he put those message public. I don't dispute that. It was literally while we were on the space, the envelope thing was not there, period. I allow for any
Yeah,
technical
so
issue, but we're being
the
called liars and
Twitter
frauds and
Spaces have been
everything.
extremely glitchy, extremely glitchy. I've been booted from Ria Space. Uh, I didn't say anything because I know it was a technical glitch. It's not like people on Ria Space hate me, and it happened a couple of times. I got booted because my app is just acting weird. It's also the case that when someone raises a hand, it's entirely possible that the hosts don't see it. Again, spaces are glitchy. The most recent Twitter update made them really fucky. Pardon my French. So also when someone comes up and wants to come up as a speaker and they sit in a queue for a long time, that happens all the time. Like again, media space, large, very large space. Uh, Someone asked me to come in, and I put in a speaker request because they asked me to come in, and I had to wait for 20 minutes. So that happens. I've seen, well, that was a couple of nights ago. People on Media Space said, we want Ukrainians in, and then Alona shows up and she has to wait for more than an hour to actually join as a speaker, even though she requested. So things like that do happen. And the idea here is not to take it personally because this is just a social platform. This is just Twitter. Like, who cares? I only know a handful of people. Like, I can count the number of people that I know personally, that I've met personally. Outside of Twitter, and that would be Nick, that would be Arthur. I met Arthur personally, so I know he's a real person. I know that Nick is a real person. Is Alex here? Argonaut. His name is Argonaut. Is Argonaut here? I don't see him. So I met him in person as well. I know he's a real person. Apart from that, people are on the other side of the planet or in a different country. Yeah, I don't know. They're just voices. They're as much as voices in my head. But as long as they're saying all the right things and not trying to promote a picture of actual support of Ukraine, I'm fine with it.
And Madi, I was willing to allow it to be technical glitches. However, there has not been the generosity of being or anything. And even Ben again went and interrupted his damn class to say, what, Ben?
To ask Marty, what's your opinion on people getting a group to come in as a swarm to attack?
No, I'm just saying it just.
Hi, everybody. This is Billy.
It just happens. It just happens all the time. If when some personal, and I'm gonna use that word because it is appropriate. When some drama happens, groups of people will band together. It's just a human nature. It always happens. If someone has an opinion and they are working closely with a specific group, and that specific person feels like one of their members of the tribe is on a mission or doing something, of course you'll have other people joining. And again, none of that should be taken personally, what I'm trying to say, because this distracts. Because I see a lot of people in here, and it could be doing.
I think
better
they've
things,
been,
to be honest.
Exactly, and that's why I'm like even more bothered. It's like, take your hatred and your anger and direct it to somebody who bleeping deserve. And sorry, I'm like, I swear like a, trust me, I'm French Canadian. So yeah, feel free to swear. I'm like censoring myself, but this is like being warped on the West Coast and having people be awful towards you because you swear. And I'm like, I'd rather you be decent of heart than to be offended by a curse. That's just fucking bullshit. Anyways, it is the bullying I don't appreciate. It is the person that came in here to kind of insinuate something, the further insinuations. And yeah, I apologize. I am not necessarily running the space in the best way. I have muted people who choose to be insulting instead of trying to put something in a better progressive manner. And we've even seen, other stuff online, and I do not see them being condemned by that community. I've seen like a little bit of discussion, and I can't keep up with everything because it's silly in a way to keep track of all this little personal infighting. But I would not choose to mute people except if they're being insulting. And that was not allowed to us the other day. They wouldn't have said, sorry, we screwed up. We should have let you speak. It was the opposite. And it's now come to like demonizing. And Ben has his professional picture up there, which was, Ben doesn't even wear a damn suit for anybody who knows him. He's a t-shirt West Coast guy, which is why it's so fucking ironic to me. Anyways, I'll shut up again.
All right, just as a closing remark, and I'll shut up. I'll drop down to listeners. I'm not hiding. You know who I am. I did get rid of RV on my last name because I keep getting DMs in Russian. I'm kind of tired of reading angry Russian messages. So if you think that you're being personally attacked or all of this is just uncivil, try going on Russian-Ukrainian speaking spaces. Oh my lord, it's a shit show, and it's understandable because those two nations are at war. Also,
Yeah,
I get DMs with death threats in Russian. Let me just finish. I'll
no, I know.
I also get death threats in Russian in DMs. So it's all relative. It's if you think that some people are being rude, well, try getting death threats. So that's very different. I don't interact with people like that. I just block them, report them, and guess what? Twitter does nothing. So yeah, I don't like Twitter. I'm here because I feel I have to be here because I need to promote a message. Otherwise, I would have fucked off a long time ago. I'm here for the long haul, and if people want to take like tiny, small things personally, yeah, it's probably not really helpful for the entire war effort. And the reason I brought up like the number of people in here is not because I'm telling everyone, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. I'm just saying if there's so many people in here who could be doing something better, there's probably something important happening here. That's why I popped up on my main account. So yeah, that's about it.
Ben kept asking if Madi has an opinion about NAFO in here. And to me, Madi, yeah, I
The name of the space.
yes, he knows. To me, it is what is worse. It's one thing for psychopaths to be attacking you when you are as intelligent and so well spoken as you, Madi. And I know you can handle it because you yourself go into these spaces to get information and to communicate it across to the world. And I'm thankful for you doing that. It is another thing when it is the people who are closer to you, who are allied with you, who instead of doing something in a decent, civilized, gentle fashion, choose to instead, like literally, I don't know if you heard the accusations of, what was it all, Ben? Financial grift. Oh yes, the word grifting was a quoted word. I can't even remember, but all in the vein of this. And it's just, that is just beyond offensive. And for Goblin, who claims to be talking for Kama, acted the way that she did, she's off the map. It was horrible. And I don't, and for her to say, I don't need to back up some, what the hell did was it Goblin or this other person who is sitting down here? Well, the person who said, I have a recording of a phone call. Mr. Bradley is just like, yeah, I know you guys like to make up shit, but this is not the people to be doing it to.
Look, I think this space could have been ended like an hour ago if NAFO wasn't in the name. And all the NAFO people are here because when you mispronounce nonsense, we're going to call it out.
We literally just want NAFO out of the space name. That's all. That's all why we're here. That was the initial conversation. Just stop. It's gone too long. It's sad now. Please stop.
And also for someone that's saying that they want to move along, they keep circling back to the same old facts.
Just asking people to stop interrupting because I can't see who's, yeah, Paul, if you claim you're a mediator, you're ridiculous. It was a space that was supposed to be positive towards NAFO. You've moved it in a direction that it wasn't. Chaplain, you have a hand up.
Yeah. So I guess my question is actually for you and your partner, husband. Obviously, whatever has happened is really, really upsetting you. And it's enough that it's drawing your spouse, apologies if I'm not using the right language, to take away from his work. So I guess my question for you is, what are you hoping to get out of this space? Because nothing is going to be resolved. And the people that's
untrue. Things can only get resolved if there's discussion, period. There's not going to be resolution if there is bullying. There's not going to be resolution if there's intimidation. There's not going to be resolution if there's not actually respect, period. And it's clear to me that the original person that came in and then started making the NAFO accusation, DeBerry, is not respectful because DeBerry blocked messages over another space and literally 2 words of us not being allowed to speak because they wanted their friendly little gang of people speaking and don't want to admit that they want a clique, or even to this time not allowing to say, oh, well, yes, it was probably technical issues. I'm so sorry. Can we please all be friends? Instead, what has gone on is, I don't know who, but you guys are clearly messaging each other. Now, there have been accusations of financial fraud, accusations of you're not NAFO, accusations of all sorts of things, which is not helping anything. It is not helping your own cause or our wanting to donate towards you. It has actually created the opposite. You guys, by choosing to attack your own, are actually helping the other side. And even I need to bring up the fact that you are distracting your husband from his teaching. He's choosing to say something himself. B, again, not helpful. I don't see the point except, again, to be insulting.
Again, please stop projecting. My point was, this is not helpful for you or anybody. If people are blocked, move on. You're turning this into something that is frankly fucking ridiculous. It's taking away from Ukrainians. So what exactly is your point? And you're
Ben says people are welcome to leave, except that they're just coming in to be nasty. I'm going to pretend like I'm neutral and then just be nasty.
You pronounce this nonsense, not me.
Not nasty. Chief, not nasty. I know which people to be nasty towards, and I don't be awful to you.
I mean, all we want is like hashtag NAFO to be removed from the title. It doesn't seem that difficult.
Who's speaking? I can't even, like, please raise your hand.
Lviv Nightingale. I don't need to raise my hand. My name is Lviv
Yep.
Nightingale. I've been in here for 2 hours. You
Lviv.
accused me of something, but all I did was like a post of Arthur's. Please don't interrupt me.
Yep.
Just let me finish.
I
All we
can,
want you to do, all we
Lviv.
want you to do is remove 5 characters.
Lviv, I asked for people to put up their hand before they speak so that I can scroll and see who's speaking, period. Yep, you've been part of the group of actus that feels it's necessary to continue bullying, and not up to you guys to sit there and bully us.
Allowed to talk about NAFO?
Ben now asks, are we allowed to talk about NAFO?
And if so, can we put the hashtag in the name?
Go ahead, Nick.
What I just wanted to add here is just that I feel like we're all wasting our time talking about this constantly for hours on end. What is it that you wanted to achieve in this space? If we could perhaps somehow resurrect it.
Methods of donation.
Oh, sorry, Ben. And I, again, for the egotistical person that needs to point out I'm somehow co-opting my husband can hear this himself. He does not need to shut off